people, it has been 6 years that I have been running this organization, 6 years that we have been giving back to our community, 5 years that we've been doing this show, and just an immense amount of love and gratitude is in my heart. I'm super excited to be here tonight because I am so happy to continue to do what we do, to continue to push through and support our victims, our followers, and everyone who has been so dedicated to our mission for 6 years. So do not mind me if my motivation and my energy and my excitement tonight is through the roof, because I am super excited. You have no idea. I was just meeting with our team last night and I said to them, wow, this really was one little idea. And look at where we are now. I am just filled with gratitude. And that's the best feeling to feel, right? Because in just 2 more days, we will be giving Thanksgiving Day. So it's the best time to celebrate our 6 years of Love Shouldn't Hurt, because I am immensely thankful and grateful to all of you who continue to be supportive. Thank you so much, Dorothea. I see you. Thank you for being here. Those of you on Instagram, I see you. On Facebook and YouTube, I see you. Thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. Tonight, I am not alone. I have someone who has just as much energy as I do. She's going to join me in a minute so that we can take you on a time machine through the past 6 years. As per always, I want to remind folks who are watching why we are here, because obviously there's reasons, right? We are here for a purpose. We are here to make sure that we support our survivors, that we support our victims and our families. But the only message that I want to continue to share with all of you is, if you or someone you love, someone that you know that may be a friend or even a foe, is dealing with some form of domestic violence, you can give them the number that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen at 1-800-799-7233. We are so excited again to be here. I'm going to let that scroll across for a little bit. The last time we were here, we were joined by Ketsi Losada. We were joined by the immeasurable Maritza Padua, who actually, big shout out to her. And look, I'm going to bring my bombas back, because it is Maritza's birthday today. So happy birthday, Maritza Padua of Women Against Abuse. We love you immensely. And I hope that today was an amazing day for you, because you are phenomenal. We had a great time on that show, bringing us back from such a long break. My car accident did not help at all. So I had to take some time off. Clearly, I am back and energized to be who I've always been. I'm going to stop talking by myself, and I'm going to bring my girl to the screen, because she is, what better person to be with me, right? Because this journey of Love Shouldn't Hurt is one where we talk about the transformation of people. We talk about how people have gone from positives to negatives. And this beautiful, amazing woman was a part of that transition for me in my life. She sat next to me at a cubicle, and we talked all the time when we worked together. And most of the time she wanted to wring my neck. Let's be honest. She's going to come on and say she didn't, but she did. I was a frustrating friend to have. I probably still am a frustrating friend to have for a lot of the people that know me. And only because, like everyone else in the world, I'm super hard-headed, but she has watched me from that very difficult time to who I am now. And I'm super grateful for her. So I'm going to bring on Jessica Narvaez, and I cannot not add the Toledo, because she is an amazing husband as well. She's going to join us later on in the show. She's going to tell us about her podcast and what my girl knows best, and that's finances. And I know all of you can use some information. What's up, Miss Thang?
Hi! I'm so excited. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for agreeing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So only sometimes I wanted to wring your neck, not all the time, just sometimes.
Okay. Fix it, people. But thank you so much for agreeing to be here tonight. I was gonna celebrate this night by myself on the screen, because we have a big celebration going on next Wednesday in person in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So I decided I'm going to come on, I'm going to recap. And then I said, I can't do that alone. I have to do it with someone. So I decided Jessica, because she has loads of energy, just like me. I also decided it because, as I stated, she is somebody who saw me from my transformation of who I was and who I've become. She has watched Love Shouldn't Hurt grow through the years. She has seen us through our troublesome times and to who we are now. So before we get into any of that, Jessica, 6 years, can you believe it?
I can't. It feels like just yesterday. I remember when we first started and doing shirts, is launching. It's amazing.
It is. It's scary, right?
It's a good scary.
Fun. It is a good scary. And there's a lot of different mixed emotions that I'm feeling today. I think every time we reach a different milestone, it's something that's major for me. It's something that's like, oh my God, I can't believe we did it. But I did it the first year, right? And then we got to the second year and then the third year. But now I'm like, when we first started this, people were like, what's your 5-year plan? And I'm like, we're in year 6. How the heck did that happen? So it's crazy. So, I want to take everybody through like a little journey of what this started as. And
Let's
what better way?
This.
Yes, than to show people how we started from very humble beginnings, folks. Oftentimes people ask me where it started, right? They're like, where did this journey come for you? So, I won't get into the full story because I will get emotional like I always do. A beautiful woman was lost. And in her being lost was a way for us to open up a door for this. Our hearts are heavy with that loss, and there are still so many people who love Linda within the community, who will love her forever, who are still affected by this major loss. When I say it opened the door, obviously there is no happiness in that in any way, shape, or form. When I say it opened the door, it opened up a door for us to finally start having these conversations. Nobody wants to talk about domestic violence. It's a taboo subject that most of our families, let's be honest, we're Hispano, and a lot of our Hispanic families don't want you to talk about domestic violence. And her loss being so profound to not only, the people who loved her, City Hall, people who worked with her on a daily basis, it made a profound, swift change in the lives of so many people. And, we are so grateful to have the support of her family, to know that we dedicated our organization and our work to her. And we've done that through the past 6 years. And that promise was made and we'll never stop. We will continue to say her names in every room that we're in, and we will highlight the beautiful person that she was. And we will not refer to her as a victim, but as an amazing soul, because that's who she was. So we're going to start from the beginning. Let's take them back on a journey. So Jessica, I don't know what you remember from the beginning, or if you even remember how this started, but give me your synopsis of how you think Love Shouldn't Hurt, the org, started. Like, what did I do? How did this happen? Let's see if you remember.
Oh, man. I know that one of the main things is, obviously honoring Linda gave you like this inspiration to be able to share your journey. And I think that when that came about, it was just like, you know what? We need to speak up. Not just me, but everybody around me. And I think like, I just remember this, just you having the talks about it and you sharing your story with me. And I just thought like that by itself was profound, right? And I think just from there was just like those little baby steps to get us to the 6 years.
Yes,
so it's exciting.
Hi, Margie. We see you too, Margie. So for those who don't know the background story, everything happened. Everything happened, and it was a difficult day. It was a difficult time to go through, a difficult situation to process. At the end of that, myself being a former victim of domestic violence, it was kind of like a light bulb moment that something needed to be done, like Jessica said. So I had the bright idea of sending 6 people a message. And my motivation that night just was either they say yes or they say no. If they say no, I move on and we go from there. So I reached out to a photographer I knew, a videographer I knew. I reached out to 2 other friends who I knew were former victims. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to educate the community on domestic violence. I want to put together a documentary. I have no money. Let's just say that from the beginning. I can't pay you. I can't compensate you in any way, but to say thank you. Hello, how are you? But I want to do this. I sent the message and I went to sleep. And I said, when I wake up, they either say yes, they either say no, and then we move on. When I woke up, I was touched that minutes after I sent that message, I see that people immediately responded one after the other. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I couldn't believe that they all just said, let's do it. I was so touched by that. And that was literally the beginning of what Love Shouldn't Hurt is right now. We were just a documentary. We were just let's talk about it. And now we're like changing lives. We're altering people's lives, right? And it's crazy. So let's show people what that day looked like.
I need to have a conversation not want to hear, but it's too close to home to keep moving on like we don't see the problem here. Right now as you're listening, there's a woman hiding bruises from her friends. But love doesn't hurt, and I know what you're worth. Why does this keep happening? How can you look in his eyes, believe in all those lies, like it happened?
That was the beginning of what we are now.
Even that has so many emotions. Just watching that back. Mm-hmm.
It does, because it's like the way that day came about, and how the women were so transparent. My daughter had never, ever, she doesn't remember the last time I was hit, and she was present, and she's the reason why I left. But she's so grown now. When we did this documentary, wow, it's 6 years, and she's 17. So my daughter was 11 at the time. Mm-hmm. She didn't remember any of that. So for her to be able to sit in that space with us that day and hear word for word what my abuse was like, mm-hmm. and to watch the reaction of Ray, who gave us the space without knowing what we were doing, and him realizing, oh my God, this happened to you, this happened to Jackie. And just the emotions that were felt that day. That might have been the heaviest day I've ever mm-hmm. experienced. From morning to evening, we sat there hour after hour and just talked about our abuse in a very, very transparent way.
It's like a form of therapy at the same time.
It was. Mm-hmm. And I tell people that all the time, because people are like, you need to get therapy for what you've been through. And I'm like, you have no idea how much I feel Love Shouldn't Hurt has been so therapeutic for me. Being able to share my story openly and not hide in that darkness anymore, mm-hmm. and being able to just let the community know. You came to one of our showings. You came and you watched the documentary. What was your take back from that day?
Oh, emotional. It's just like, you don't realize how many women mm-hmm. go through that, and men too, right? Mm-hmm. But you had these strong stories on there, and it's just like, I just wanted to go into the documentary and hug each person like that. Like, but that day, like when you had like the opening to see the documentary, that was the day I was just like, oh, this is long-term. This is just not one day thing. This is a long-term thing. So I knew for sure.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that statement, Jessica? You saw the documentary and thought long-term, and I just saw it as a documentary. This is all we're going to do. We're just mm-hmm. going to educate our community, and we'll show this as many times as we can. And we'll educate people on domestic violence. And that was it.
It brought so many people together, though.
It
Mm-hmm.
did. It did. I want to shout out Jose Rodriguez and Mario, because they jumped on the project and still mm-hmm. to this day support us. Jose Rodriguez of J Prod, if you guys don't know, best photographer out there, videographers. They still highly support everything we do. They're still very present at every activity. And, I can't even say thank you, because that would not even, the words wouldn't even describe what I feel towards the group that came that day. Ray, Marilyn, mm-hmm. Jackie, Zulma, my daughter, the guys. It wouldn't have happened without them, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Anybody that's on here and that's watching as well, make sure that you write in the comments if you're interested. Hello, Ezria. Is that your baby?
Is she on there?
That is her baby saying hi to us. If you have not seen the documentary and you are interested in seeing our documentary, please drop your name. Let us know. We will send it to you. It is something that we want to make sure is shared with our community. We have used that as an educational tool. We have used that just to help us in so many ways. So please let us know if you're interested in that. So I'm going to show us just the clip that we use for marketing so that people can see. I think watching this clip in itself made it real for me, right? Because we went through that day and it was like, oh, but when he sent us this clip, I was like, oh, we're doing this. Mm-hmm. It was no.
That's strong. You just see the power in the strong woman that's in that video.
It is. And tell me, because we're celebrating 6 years. That's that's the big one, right? That's
Mhm.
big. But tell me, you know me very well, right? You
Mhm.
got to know Zulma, right? So you know Zulma. I believe you've met Jackie before. I believe you've
I
interacted
met
with her.
Jackie, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you've met Jackie. So thinking of that documentary and watching it that day, knowing at least Zulma and me that day,
Mhm.
what were the emotions and the thoughts you were feeling just watching it? Besides wanting to hug us, but what were just your thoughts? Because these are women that you see all the time.
You would never know. Honestly, like the thought is you would never know. Like you just never know what someone is going through or have been through. And it's just more of watching, I guess, being inspired by the fact that everyone was sharing. It kind of opened doors for a lot of other people to share and also to reflect on life ourselves to see, like, wow, did I kind of went through something similar or like, things like that. But it's just, yeah, it's powerful no matter what. Obviously sad, right? Because we would never want anyone to go through those things.
Yeah,
But the best part is just watching survivors
yeah,
come out of it.
definitely. 6 years has been a road of, I think, growth for us, but a road also that we've had plenty of difficult times along the way. Um,
Hmm.
we didn't have a lot of people who were as positive as your thoughts, right? Some people went to that showing and walked away from it and just took that we were bitter women who were holding on to a dark past that they needed to let.
Mm.
We've had people, I still have people who send me nasty messages and tell me to get over it and move on. Um, so it's been a hard path, right? Because besides that, we've also had a lot of doors closed in our faces, right? And I say that because I think that in the community that we're in Philadelphia, I think that we have to prove ourselves before we can gain the respect from people. And I think that we have definitely pushed through some doors and are like, we're here and you're going to respect us regardless. Um,
Hmm.
and that was hard. That was hard because it wasn't just strangers, family members, friends who didn't believe in our mission, people who still say that what we're doing is wrong. And it was difficult. But I love the fact that I could sit here today with a smile on my face and say that through those difficult times, we are 6 years in and we
Yeah.
have done so much. We have done so much. I had a meeting yesterday with my committee and I asked them to do an inclusive welcome. And I'm going to ask you that same question that I asked them. So when we started the meeting, I said, guys, I want a positive, inclusive welcome. So my question to you is, you have watched Love Shouldn't Hurt for the past years and you have seen us from
Hmm.
middle to not end because we're not ending, but to the 6 year mark. Uh,
Hmm.
what is one or any, um, whether it was an event you attended, something you watch, a show you saw, whatever it was, what is one thing that you take away from this organization that you haven't already said in the past 6 years? What is something that stands out to
Oh, oh man, it's so many events.
you
It's
on the
hard
spot?
to so many events. I think I'm gonna say something recent. The conference did.
Mhm.
I
Absolutely.
feel that brought so many people together. We
Yeah.
were able to do different workshops for them, and I felt
Yeah.
like since it was like interactive and people got to learn things at the same time, it kind of like I feel like it like catapulted the events, if that makes sense. So I feel like that was great. And then at the same time, we got to hear, you had your keynote speaker and share her story. So it's like
Mhm.
people, you have these negative people telling you, what not to do, what not to say. But then you have this keynote speaker who was an actress, also what bookseller, right? Sharing her story, but nobody's telling her that, or maybe they are, and we don't know. But like, I think culture is so used to like having you stay shut and not share this, don't do that. That's nobody's business. Keep it to yourself. That we got so stuck in doing that we get stuck in the situations that we shouldn't be in. So I feel like just all your events in general, I feel like just allow people to speak freely and not be judged. And I think that's the best part of everything.
Absolutely. So I think my favorite part, so I love the Love Gala, right? Because I love that we get to support our families who have lost loved ones. We get to celebrate survivors. And it's just a great event to have so many people there in one room, and we're all standing there together against the same thing. Like, to know that there's so many people who do not believe domestic violence to be real, and then standing at the top of that room and seeing so many people there in support of it, it makes it such, like, it's one of my favorite events. But I have to be honest, and I have to say that this show might be my most favorite thing, because we get to have on so many amazing guests. We get to just hear different opinions, and we're just like educated. And, you know, we've done so many shows that it was hard for me today to kind of like narrow down which one are we going to talk about. Oftentimes people call me after shows and they were like, oh my God, you had this person on and I loved it. But a fan favorite for everyone is Amanda. So Amanda is the licensed professional counselor. She's also a dear friend of mine, and I love her so much because she's so.
I love Amanda.
Everybody loves Amanda. Amanda is like the queen bee. Like, she don't even have to be in the room, but she's the queen bee. So I chose one of her videos to highlight tonight because Amanda tells it to you raw, but she also tells it to you in a way that you understand. And I watched this one episode, and it's really one of my favorite episodes. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this woman is just like, she's just powerful. So one of our shows, because we've been doing this for the past 5 years, and Amanda is my favorite.
I think you said finding support. That one is available. The thing is, to the support folks. So this is to the support folks. Just because you're sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs, does not mean that person is ready to hear it. Or to take action steps. So Christina just said, oh, they checked me or whatever. That don't mean you should be listening. Don't think that I don't get frustrated with her. Right? So, you know, she said earlier, change the narrative, because that just became now my spiel. Rather than me getting upset with her or angry at her, I would just be like, girl, change the narrative. Right? Because at this point, I've fed you or giving you my support. And this is for everyone, even with my clients. How do we change the narrative? How can I support you in helping yourself? Because I can't do it for you. I can't give you my voice. I actually thought really quickly, because I know we're at the half mark.
No, you're fine.
When I was pondering this topic, I thought of the movie The Little Mermaid, right? And how, you know, she lost her voice, but the entire remainder of the movie, she's working on getting her voice back. Right. And she doesn't quit until she gets it. And I know a lot of people say this is a fairy tale. She's actually going after the prince and all that. Yes, that's all Disney. Great. But she didn't value her voice at some point and thought it was more important to chase the prince than to keep her voice. And then found herself that without her voice, she wasn't who she was. Right. You think about yourself like this, like, who are you with your voice versus who you are without it? And who do you want to be moving forward? Because that's what it comes down to. Do you want to be a person who is kind of just unsure and not settled in who they are and what they are? Or do you want to be a person who feels like, all right, I'm not the best thing in the world yet. Let's put that exclamation point or question mark, whichever one it is. But I'm going to work on that. And the person I want to become is this. I love vision boards.
Amanda is amazing. And she has the best way to tell you what she's feeling or how she thinks things should be done or things that you need to do, right? She's a therapist, people. She is a professional mental health. So this isn't just someone who comes on here and speaks. She actually is a licensed professional counselor, so she knows her stuff. I call her my my educated Latina, John. And she has a way of telling you things where you get it, you understand it, and you're like, I resonate with that. I resonate with that. So, you know, I'm celebrating people who have been here and have celebrated with us. And Amanda is one of those people who, you know, we want to celebrate and remember because she's been such a good asset. April was phenomenal at our conference. Our women's conference this year was the first one. It was the insertion of what we plan to do every year. But she was great. If you guys have not seen Miss April Hernandez, you need to pull up Freedom Writers, pull up a sofa, a stool, a chair, and watch the film Freedom Writers, so that you can see who Miss April Hernandez is. You can go to Amazon to buy any of her books, but she came to Philly and she brought the fire.
Yes, she did.
She really did. And that conference was like a lightning bolt for people. Like, it was such an amazing event. We look forward to doing so. How did it already get into 26 minutes? I don't know how we got there so quickly. Before we go to that break, let's see a little snippet of Miss April.
I'm from that generation. Like, mama, you got the Vaseline, your hair, everything's correct. So my daughter, we were looking good, and I had this woman come, hi, April. I'm Mira, look at the baby. I'm like, And I'm like, oh my God. And then she asked me, how's motherhood? And I was like, I hate it. I hate it. You know when we run into church? And she looked perplexed. I said, Mama, God bless you. And I was free to be me. So that's who I am. With my faith, with my husband, with my community, I've gotten to a place. I still walk with a limp. I still have a thorn in my side. But I face myself every day. I allow myself to feel, but I don't stay. And then I wake up and I'll say, fuck it. I'm a size 10 today. Oh well. F it. For those of us who have daughters, any mama girls, and you see when they put on your shoes and you watch them with joy because you see the potential and you know how hard life can be, but you are setting the stage because you're doing the work.
April definitely did not prepare me for the laughter. I didn't think she would make me laugh that hard. She was hilarious.
She had both. She had people in tears, had people laughing, and what was also great was like she was sharing different snippets, right? She shared the views, she shared her relationship with her mom, so different people of the audience was able to relate to her in those aspects.
She was. It is at the half park. I don't know how we got here so quickly. So I just want to remind folks who are watching, one, we are celebrating 6 years, people. It's been 6 years doing this thing. And tonight is a recap of that. Shameless plug. We're having a huge celebration next Wednesday at the barn, the Lighthouse Barn in Philadelphia on Wednesday night from 5 to 8 p.m. We will be celebrating our 6-year anniversary, and it is a networking event. So bring your business cards, your digital, your physical ones. We're going to have raffles. We're going to have food. We're going to have music, and we're going to have a great time. But tonight, a reminder with the number across the screen. If you or anyone you know is dealing with any form of domestic violence, friend, foe, neighbor, anyone, they can reach out to the domestic violence hotline, the national one, at 1-800-799-7233. Remember, there is also one in Philadelphia that goes directly to Women Against Abuse, who has the only 2 shelters within the city. So if you need help, reach out to them. Or if you're in imminent danger, remember to dial 911. So, looking back at 6 years, we've done a lot, right? So I had to write my list because I couldn't remember everything we've done, right? And I was like, wow, right? We most recently did a clothing and donation drive, which was a major success. I thank everyone who contributed to that because it was a great success. We started off the first 2 hours and not one car showed up, right? So I had left because I had my niece's bridal shower the same day. And I was texting the girls and I'm like, anybody? And they're like, nobody. And I'm like, oh, I hope it's just the Latinos are late. Right. So I was really worried about my girl standing out there. It was cold that day. And I'm like, please let people show up. And as I'm sitting at my niece's bridal shower, I started to get videos and text messages. And I was like, oh my God. Car after car pulling up, bag after bag. I brought those Rubbermaids. They were filled instantly. Then we had other Rubbermaids. We had furniture. We had so much stuff that I had to come back to pick the things up during the day. And I had to bring 2 cars because there was no way that I was going to take that by myself. We have a storage closet right now. If you do not know, our donation drive, we continue to to receive clothing and items throughout the year. It helps us clothe. It helps us fill the homes of wherever it is that we place our victims, whether we relocate them or they find somewhere else to live. Know that oftentimes our victims leave in the middle of the night with not one thing in their possession. So your donations towards the clothing, the baby formula, Pampers, all of that is appreciated all the time, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Please call me and I will get it from you. We just recently had that. Every year we put on a gala. We put on a gala. Our gala is coming up March 29th, 2025. So we're super excited because we are preparing for that. Our gala is an event that is super important to me because we get to highlight all of those women who were victims but are now survivors. We also remember and show love towards the family and all of those who are affected by those who lost their lives to domestic violence. So our Love Gala is something that you can look forward to. It is March 29th. That was a photo from our very first year. This was our second year. This was our third year. The Love Gala is something that is so phenomenal for us. It's just a day for us to all come together in one room and just speak against domestic violence. We have a 5K run that we have. We did our first 2 years, and a bigger part of our discussion and a bigger part of tonight is reminding folks what we've done and where we're going and what direction we're in. We're making sure that we are making a full calendar event for the entire year now. We are officially a 501c3. We are a nonprofit, so we want to make sure that all of you in Philadelphia and even surrounding counties know that when we have an event, it is something that will be there every year at the same time so that you are aware. So we've had runs, we've gone to the Police Explorers, and we've given classes on domestic violence to, those young men and women who are in the Police Explorers, who are learning and need to learn about domestic violence. Today is super important for me, right? And I'm putting up pictures and I'm talking to Jessica and I'm showing videos, but I want people to know that this isn't all that we do. We're not just here on Tuesdays talking to talk, right? We're not just in the community talking about domestic violence, but when you're not hearing from us, we're doing the work. We're going into schools, we're talking to students, we're tabling at various events within the city. We're meeting folks at city council and representing, domestic violence awareness alongside all other agencies within the city who are doing the work as well. We are doing the work because we want to benefit those people who are victims and all of you who may need that support and that extra love. We've had showings. Jessica went to one of our showings of our documentary. Again, for those who have not seen the documentary, please let us know. We can send you a link so that you can see it. Talk at schools, tabling at venues, spoken in front of city council. We have, and it's coming up next week, we're going to start our toy drive. We do it every year. We have families that we work with throughout the year, and, we gather donations for toys so that those kids, even though they're misplaced from their homes, do wake up to toys and get gifts from our community. So those are some of the things that we have done. Jessica, it is 35 mark, right? And we know that you're here and we know that, you've been a part of this with us, but I want to give you the opportunity as someone who is involved in our circle, because I only hang out with smart Latinas. Tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do, and tell us about your podcast, Jess.
Sure. So I do have my own platform, Live Life with Jay, to teach our community financial education, just focusing on the basics of how to budget. And we know that budget is not for everyone because, we have bigger issues, systemic problems. But for people who do have the means of having money and don't know how to manage it, we just start with the basics: budgeting, debt payoff, saving, and then I guess you can see it on the side. I am co-host of Financial Progress Podcast, where we just teach the basics right on there. And we bring in guests as well. And different guests, like some come in and we'll talk about a 401k and how do you do that, or HSA, or like how to pay off your debt correctly. So that's the basics of what I do by night. By day, I have, a 9 to 5 as a project director, and by night, I'm a financial educator.
Which is important, right? So we had a show.
Mhm.
She was a part of one of those shows as well, where she taught folks about financial awareness, educating them about just finances. She's helped me. And she is a useful tool. So if you do not follow her podcast, follow her on all social media, and we'll add that to this link so you can see it as well. If you need help with finances, if you are someone out there who was a former victim and you're trying to figure out, how do I get my finances back in check? I started over again. Jessica is a dynamic resource for that. She can help you with her finances. It is her forte, people. So,
That and designing shirts, because we also
designing
do
shirts. That's right. She does Toledo Designs, is right.
Yeah.
Toledo Designs as well. Let's look at another old show and let's see what that old show was about. We try to, mix it up so that, people get to know different people. So let's sit here and let's see. Let's talk about the feeling of failing our kids. Let me give you some words while you get yourself together. And that's okay. It takes two. Here's my thing. So for years, you say that you had to forgive yourself, right? You didn't feel like you protected your son. I've been there 1,000 times. I don't know how comforting that is, but I've been there. Not only in my physical abuse, because the last time my abuser hit me, my daughter was 3 and she was present. She's the one who told the police officer who had knocked me down and what had happened. So that in itself ripped my heart apart, because I thought I had protected her from seeing abuse. As she got older, she saw me with mentally abusive relationships and emotionally abusive and verbal abusive. And she saw men put me down, and she saw men call me fat and tell me I wasn't worthy. She saw me get on my knees and beg these men to stay with me. She saw all of the abuse that I endured after the fact. And I said that the day that I left would have been the last time that I would be abused. But then after that, I was in other relationships that abused me mentally, verbally. And those are things that still carry with me, thinking I'm always overweight, thinking that I'm not pretty enough, that my teeth aren't beautiful enough, because they go on your insecurities, and that's what they continue to do to beat you down. But you didn't fail your son. You were in protective mode that night. And unfortunately, you had 45 minutes of all that abuse happening, but you did it because you were scared he was going to be the one to go through it. So you took it. And that's what happens as moms, right? We take that pain for our kids. We're like, listen, if I have to go through this so that she doesn't go through it, so that he doesn't go through it, let it happen. I watched my mom go through things in life, and she did it so that we could be protected. So I think that that's what moms do. And you didn't fail your son in that aspect. And to be totally honest with you, even you're inside of a home. So if you scream for help, who's going to hear you from outside if you're just screaming, right? So you did what you had to do in that moment. And I want you to know that, because I don't want you to continue to feel like, oh my God, I didn't protect him, because you did what any of us mothers would do. Any of us would do. If I have somebody in the house and they're going to beat me over the head and I know my daughter's sleeping, I'm going to let you do whatever you want to me, because I want to make sure you don't touch her. I want to make sure she's safe.
That was my only goal.
And you did that.
Only goal. And when
you did
everything was done, when everything was done, I called the cops. I had a friend call the cops. I called my friend before I called the cops. And then I was just out. I was like, I hope, because I lost so much blood. I couldn't hold on anymore. I tried, and I used what energy I had left in that moment to just get help. But I tried, and then when they woke me up and I seen the help was there, I was just like, my son. Yeah. If we're talking, we could. My son is upstairs. Yeah. That's it. So once I saw him, in their.
Yeah. I think that we have had a variety of very vulnerable people. And I appreciate that. And that's why I say that I think that the show is what I love the most over the past 6 years. I absolutely love when we do relocations, and I love seeing people do well after the abuse. But I love the show so much because people come on and they're open to be vulnerable. They're open to shed their tears with me. They're open to share their stories. And I think that's because we've built that with them over the past 6 years. We have given them that personal treatment. We have given them that personal, hey, I'm going to sit and I'm going to talk to you. Let's have a conversation. I think that that's where, in part, we have been a positive resource to the community because we have the ability to give the personal one-on-one, whereas bigger organizations, oftentimes, you're lost in the shuffle of so many people and so many clients. And it's easier for us to say, hey, Christina will talk to you herself. Ray will talk to you himself. Jackie will talk to you herself. And I think that that's what's made it just so interesting and so just dynamic for me 6 years later. Last year at our 5-year anniversary, Amanda had said to you, what do you see in the future of Love Shouldn't Hurt? And you gave your answer. So we're in year 6 now, right? I wonder if your answer has changed. What do you?
I can't remember what my answer was.
I said, let's change. We are 6 years in. We're super excited to be this far. But what do you see for this organization? What do you envision happening for us?
Well, I definitely know that I said that it's just going to keep growing.
You
It's
did.
going to keep growing. More people are going to speak out, right? You're going to help more families, and I just see it keep growing. I don't know what that looks like, but even like you having a bigger team and having to go to more states and things like that, I just see it keep growing because people need it. People need this.
Yeah,
They need the personal attention.
yeah. I think that's the most important part, just making sure that we get that one-on-one contact with people. So, a lot of people are like, what is it that you guys have? Like, what is going on for the future? So, just a little intro, because you're going to hear a lot more at our event next week. Continue to be a shameless plug. You're going to hear a lot of things that people do not know that are on the horizon. Next week, we are sharing a lot of information. I'm going to put that up so people see it. We're sharing a lot of information on what is to come for Love Shouldn't Hurt in the next year. We're super excited for so many things to be happening in the next year. I feel like we are finally solidifying our place, right? So it took us 5 years to get to where we've gotten, and now we're in year 6, and we're finally solidifying who we are as an organization, what we're doing for the community, how many people we can help, what resources we can extend. So the first exciting thing that we believe is something major. And if people do not know, because I've put it on our Instagram and I've put it on our different social media, but something that's super big for us that we have just done. And I'm looking because I want to make sure that I say it correctly. We have just signed an agreement with a community organization called Citywide Community Counseling Services, which is a major, major triumphant for us because we have so many people who come to us who need the counseling services, who need a place to turn to. And after 6 years, we have outsourced so much. We've gone to this person and let's call this therapist and let's use their insurance. But we now have an organization within our community that is bilingual as well, has counselors who speak in Spanish and other languages who are going to partner with us and now can be our resources to our community. So they're going to be able to take our referrals and do everything with you. So any type of group counseling, family counseling, personal counseling that you need, we are excited that Citywide Community Counseling Services is now our partner. They will be at our event next week. There will be counselors there. There will be people who work within that organization who will be there to meet you and to just join us in the celebration of this 6 years. We have an intern. 6 years later, we finally have someone to help. She has been a tremendous help to Love Shouldn't Hurt. She's been, if you received emails and you're wondering who she is our intern. She has been sending out all of our emails. She's been sending out invites to be sponsors for our gala. She has sent out invites for our event next week. She has been helping organize our closet and just been that person that I'm dumping things on. So we are extremely grateful for Renaya Ramos. She is a part of our team and we are so extremely happy to have her. We did say that our gala will be on March 29th. So we are super looking forward to that. It is an all black affair. So we will be wearing black from head to toe. The venue will be black from head to toe. Black makes you look slimming. We'll have a band this year. We will have a lot more exciting things happening at our gala this year. So we have a lot of things on the horizon. I don't want to say everything because I don't want to spoil, next week's, announcements, because we do have so much that is going on. But, we have gotten very far in 6 years, and we've done a lot. I was looking today so that I can give a final number on that. In the past 6 years, we have relocated over 200 people.
Wow.
We have been able to financially support 75 victims with their bills in their homes, with their rent. We have been able to provide Pampers, formula, and clothing for infants with those families. We have done gift drives every year. We have given gifts to families in the past 6 years. Every year we've had about 5 to 6 families. So we have supported 30 families over the past 5 Christmases in getting their children and themselves gifts. I am super proud of everything that we've done. I'm trying not to be emotional because I'm a crybaby. This is something that I said to my group yesterday. I could not be any more grateful for the support, for the love, and just for people taking on what was supposed to just be my baby, was supposed to just be something that I wanted to do. After the documentary, I didn't expect so many people to continue to help, right? I thought they did the documentary, we moved on, and we have had so much support. Not only is next week a celebration, but it is a thank you to everyone who has supported us. Councilwoman Ketsi Lozada has supported us since day one, even before she was a councilwoman. At that time, Maria Quiñones was the councilwoman. She also has supported us and continues to support us. Danilo Burgos, the state representative. We have had so many people who have helped us that I stand awestruck sometimes at all of the people who have extended their hand. April was just somebody we met by accident. Never thought that she would be who she is to me now. She came, she did this conference with us, but I can call her a friend. Like, I can pick up the phone and we do that. She calls me, I call her, she'll call me. Yesterday we did an interview and we were on the camera and we both looked crazy. And she said, we both look homeless right now. Her hair wasn't brushed, mine wasn't brushed. And we were just laughing and joking. And I never thought that I would get that. It is just, Rafael Collazo, he just left a message. Congratulations to Christina and Love Shouldn't Hurt. Thanks for servicing the most vulnerable while honoring their dignity. I have to give him a shout out. Rafael Collazo has been a mentor to me for over 20 years. He was the first person to give me my first internship. He is who helped me with this podcast journey. And because he is here, that is so funny. We're going to play a video that I put up on here. Because I wanted to remind folks where our humble beginnings began. And this was one of my first interviews.
Morning to ask, what should I do? I'm leaving right now. I have nothing. I'm getting in a taxi cab. What do I do? And it's definitely become a lot bigger than I thought. So, I'm appreciative for that person for that push. But I guess I just needed someone to tell me that I could do it. And I know that I could. Like you said, strong Latina, always have been. But I kind of was just fearful, who would really want to hear this story, because it's been so silenced in our community. People aren't, to myself, I thought, no one's going to talk about it. No one's going to want to talk about it. If people are going through it, they're not going to express, oh yeah, we're going through it, just because it's so taboo. And I found out that's definitely not the case. With this initiative, everyone came out of the dark.
I want to ask you about kind of how this process and what this campaign is looking like for people that are familiar with it. But I want to remind my people listening to the podcast, listening to the radio show, watching on Facebook Live, is that in my organizing career, and I've basically been a political and community organizer my whole life, is that's the biggest lesson you get out of it. One person, it just takes that spark. And people feel like they're so overwhelmed. Like, I'm one person.
He is, I'm telling you, people, if you haven't followed him, you need to go follow him. You need to follow Bomba Live. It is another show and another part of who I am as a person, but the person who is behind that. And like I said, today's show and next week is just a thank you to everyone. And Rafael Collazo deserves all the accolades for being such a huge supporter of me throughout my entire life and not just Love Shouldn't Hurt. So I appreciate him. We're at the 50 mark, which is crazy. Everything went by so quick and I had so many things to share. But I just want to, remind folks of the things that we've done in the past 6 years. the people that we've touched, and the lives that we've been able to just make a part of our own lives, and just make everyone understand that domestic violence is not just a one person thing, a one sex thing. There are so many people who are dealing with domestic violence right now that you do not know. So a question that was asked of me last night by April was this, and I'm going to say it because I've said it before. And Amanda has said this to me all the time, and I think that it's profound. If I were to walk away from Love Shouldn't Hurt today and hand the reins to someone, what would I say to them? How would I get them to do it? And what would I want them to know about Love Shouldn't Hurt? And the only thing that I could think of is Amanda ringing in my ear, because she said it so many times to me, and that is lead with love.
Mhm.
We have been able to be so successful and to be where we are 6 years later, and to have so much support, because that is exactly what we've done. We've been able to lead with love. And I encourage everyone who is watching and all of those who participate in our events, if you have someone who is dealing with domestic violence and they come to you and they frustrate you because they stay and they stay and they stay, continue to lead with love. Continue to show them that love. Continue to remind them that you're there 24 hours a day, and that when they're ready to decide it's really our time, that you're going to be there to support them.
Mhm.
It has been a phenomenal 6 years, and I look forward to 6 more, and 6 more after that, and 6 more after that. I just am appreciative, Jessica. I say thank you to you publicly as well for being my cheerleader when I wasn't.
Always a cheerleader.
And just being supportive of Love Shouldn't Hurt. I'm a crybaby, so people don't laugh at my watery eyes, but
If people know, they know.
they know.
But when I got a question for you,
Yeah.
looking back at these clips, looking back at listening to yourself,
Mhm.
like what do you feel? What do you take from it?
Crybaby over here. I don't want to cry.
Let it
Um,
out, girl.
I just think that I had this conversation the other day, and for anyone who knows me well, and I mean, when I say well, like really knows me, Jessica knows me. When there is something that's put in front of me that's difficult, oftentimes in life, I have given up. Um, I have never been the person when something's hard that I would just keep going. I've given up. Once it's hard, I was like, nope, I can't do this. I'm out. Um, Love Shouldn't Hurt has been probably one of the hardest things that I have had to carry on my shoulders. The show is not all we do. You see everything else that we do, but it is a heavy burden to carry. Um, and I don't mean in any way that I regret it, because I don't at all. I love the people that I work with. I give all of my love to my victims. They personally, become ingrained in my heart while I'm working for them. But it's been heavy because I listen to really hard stories all the time.
Mhm.
I listen to stories that trigger me sometimes. I listen to stories that are difficult for anyone to listen to. And I take them with me. I carry them with me. Sometimes, I lose sleep, and it's difficult for me to even just get through days because I hurt when they hurt.
Mhm.
So I look back at these videos and I'm just awestruck of my resilience over the past 6 years, because I'm not the same person I was.
Mhm.
Like, I really am in no way, shape, or form the same Christina that I used to be. It's not hard for me to keep pushing at where I'm at now. I don't give up when it's hard. I just keep going. And if you know me, you know that I would have been like, no, I can't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that looking back at all of this, that's what it does for me. Thank you, Ray. It's shown me how it's allowed me to be more resilient, to just be a strong individual that I lacked. And that's why I keep saying thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone watching who always watch. Thank you to you. Thank you to Ray. Thank you to my team, to everybody, to Amanda, to Evelyn, to the people who have been here for the past 6 years. You guys have like held me up, and you didn't let me stop when I wanted to give up. Nobody has let me, and that has transformed me into who I am, and not someone that I ever thought that I would be. So that's my answer to that.
So
So
that's a great answer.
we have 5 minutes left. I want to do as we always do, and I'd like to give my guest a platform. 6 years later, thank you for joining me for this celebration today. I'll talk about next week when I come on, but I'm going to leave Jessica alone. I'm going to leave her the
You're
floor.
gonna leave me alone.
Yeah. So that she can give us a few closing thoughts, and it could be about anything, but just so that she has the opportunity on the screen, because even though we're in celebration of 6 years, I love still to give my guests that moment to shine. So Jessica, here is your floor.
That caught me off guard. um, but you have said thank you to all of us, but this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for you, right? And your ideas and your inspiration and your story. Love Shouldn't Hurt wouldn't be here. So I'm gonna take the moment for all of us watching, for everyone on the team, to thank you, Cristina de la Vega. That's what I call her. Cristina de la Vega, to say thank you for getting this started. Thank you for touching lives. Thank you for just being there for the people that need you the most. And just being there in general, even though, we're probably haven't been as close as we don't work next to each other anymore, but I know that you'll be there if I need you, right? You're a text phone call away, and I'm always here for you as well. But the 6 years have been amazing. I have been to most, not everything, but I think I've been to most of it. And it's been great. So we thank you, Christina, for everything. That's it from me. Come back.
Oh, thank you for that. You're going to say I'm going to take a moment to tell people just a little bit some things that we still are working on, reminders to folks. So you'll be back in a minute. I don't know why I didn't get it. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight, but I just want to thank folks, whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow, next week. I just want to thank everyone for being as supportive as you are, and being here with us, and just enduring this with us. Doing this has not been an easy task. Doing this has not been something that I would ever be the way it is. I apologize. Our connection is a little crazy. Hopefully it'll come back and it won't be affected. I'm sure what's happening right now. I don't know what's happening, but hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, I just am extremely thankful to everyone for everything that's happening in the past 6 years. I thank you all for being so supportive of our mission. And I just want to remind all of you of next week. Next week, we will be having our 6-year anniversary celebration. We will be at the Lighthouse Barn on Erie Avenue. We will be there with raffles. We will be there. There it is. We will have our 6-year anniversary networking event next week. Please bring your business cards. Please bring your hunger. Please bring your just for what it is that we do, because we are so excited to have you join us next week. It is an event that is just a thank you to all of you for being a part of this journey with us. We appreciate you. Again, it is next Wednesday, December 4th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Lighthouse Barn on Erie Avenue. We will be there 5 to 8, but we must be out of there by 8. So make sure you're there on time. Like I said, we will have raffles, we will have music, we will have just a great time. Bring your business cards. It's going to be a great event. I just want to remind folks of just what happens around this time. Obviously, we are in the moment of Thanksgiving. This week we will be gathering with our families and those that we love. When you're gathering with your families, remind yourself of how blessed you are to have those families. Some of us don't during this time. I am so immensely grateful for the Spanish American firefighters, Demetrio Oliviero, and all of the firefighters who donated turkeys for us and our victims. Thank you so much. We're extremely grateful. We still have our GoFundMe going on for our victim. We are $900 shy of the amount that we need so that we can pay the down payment so that our victim can come to Philadelphia and relocate here with her children. We will start our toy drive in 2 weeks so that we can make sure that those families who have children do have Christmas gifts this year. So please remember that this is something that we do every year. We will start that in 2 weeks. We still have the GoFundMe going on right now. Our gala is set to be March 29th. And please join us next Wednesday, December 4th, at the Lighthouse Barn from 5 to 8 p.m. We are celebrating 6 years. It is definitely going to be a party. We will be celebrating, and it is also a networking mixer. So bring your business cards so that you can network with the folks there. Thank you guys so much for being supportive and for loving Love Shouldn't Hurt as much as you do and just being there for all of us. That was my spiel for this evening. You're back.
I can't believe it's over.
I know it went really, really fast. I had so many videos back there, but don't worry. Next week, I'll bombard everyone at the Lighthouse. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your years of support towards our organization. And just thank you for being a ray of light, and remind people where they can find you.
Yes, I mean, on social media platforms at J_Narvaez and YouTube, Instagram, and all podcast platforms at Financial Progress Podcast.
Yay! Go follow her. A reminder to everyone as we close out, if you or anyone that you know is dealing with any form of domestic violence, whether it's a friend, family member, or even a foe, it takes 2 seconds for you to give them the number to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. There is also a hotline in Philadelphia that leads directly to Women Against Abuse. So if you need a shelter or a place to stay, please make sure you call the Philadelphia one so that you can get help immediately. And as always, if you are in imminent danger, dial 911. Thank you so much. And we will see you after the Thanksgiving holiday next week at the barn. Join us then. Have a good night, everyone.